On September 9th, the students and faculty of PHS hosted the USA Pep Rally, inviting all veterans and first responders to be honored for all they do for the country. The pep rally began with students cheering on the veterans and first responders as they were led by the drumline. Marines retrieved and posted the colors, and the entire day was filled with remembrance and acknowledgement for the men and women who risked their lives to better others. On September 11th, the town of Prosper centered around a giant chunk of metal, which was preserved from the rubble and debris of the World Trade Center. This piece of metal symbolized so much more than just the aftermath of one of the worst global attacks in history. It symbolized unity. Head Fire Chief Tucker began the tribute by discussing how all were torn apart, but they were more united than ever before.
We get referred to as heroes. It's our job. We love it. We're dedicated to it. You know, we're very fortunate. We actually get paid to do what we love more than anything in the world.
Head Chief of Police Chief Kowalski delivered a heartfelt speech on hope and unity creating a new nation.
You will recall the term never forget. And we never do forget. We remember the sacrifices of those that were working that day as first responders. We also remember the sacrifices of those innocent civilians such as yourselves whose lives were taken that day. I also remember how this country came together as one during that time. You couldn't hardly go anywhere without seeing the American flag flying proudly everywhere you looked. And everybody stood a little taller and a little prouder that day to be an American.
The tribute began with the ringing of a bell to signify tradition, as a bell would ring when the firefighters had to leave and rang once their job was completed at that time. They also had bagpipers and a drummer lead out the men to retrieve the colors, and then concluded with a video in remembrance of the event and how the United States truly gained the title of United. For Eagle Nation News, I'm Jake Fine.